Well, hey, everybody. Hope you are having a fantastic day. My name is Will Hankey. This is episode 9 of Marketing Pains, and we are going a little bit down a different route today than normal. And we're going to be talking more along the lines of saving time, I guess would be a good way to put it, right? And we're calling this automating the mundane. So every business has different things that we do over and over again, and they're not fun, but they're repetitive. And in some cases, they can be automated, and they should be automated. That moves that time to some sort of a process or an automation and frees up that time for you to help grow your business, right? Do other tasks that build your business and make it more functional, a little bit more streamlined, maybe. So anyway, that is what we are going to talk about this week. I'm excited to have you on listening. We are also doing this on Facebook Live. If you're watching live, jump into the comments, leave me a comment. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have along the way, but I do appreciate you listening and or watching as well. So I actually have a little presentation. I'm going to pull up, of course, the audio version. You won't see that, but that's okay. You're still going to get plenty of fantastic information, and you're going to be able to get some good notes here that will help you help your business grow. So let me do this and this. So, okay. So today we are talking all around automating the mundane, the things that we don't want to do over and over. And this kind of brings me back to something I learned about years ago, and that's the Pareto Principle, also known as the 80-20 rule, right? And typically it goes somewhere along the lines of 20% of the input accounts for 80% of your output. And this is true. It's not always exactly those numbers, right? Sometimes it's 10-90, sometimes it's 70-30, whatever that number is. But typically, there are little things that you can do that have big results. And the other way around, there are big things that you can do that are taking away a lot of time when you should be focusing on the 20% in this case. A great example I heard one time was that 20% of the carpet in your house gets 80% of the traffic. And it's totally true, right? Maybe those numbers aren't exact, but the idea behind it is definitely true. There are probably 20% of your customers that provide 80% of the revenue, or 20% of the services that you provide that provide 80% of the revenue. And these things are very important to, first of all, identify. And then secondly, make sure that that you're putting effort into those things and not the other way around, right? That could be a problem. Sometimes we do get too busy doing nothing and doing things that are not improving our bottom line, and we're not doing enough things we're not spending enough time on money making activities. And that's really where we need to be. I mean, it's pretty obvious. That's where we all need to be. If we could take all of our time and put it towards money making activities, that would be awesome. So a couple things I want to talk about today. Some are related to your website, some are related to your business, some are related to your office, and I'll probably toss in one or two related to your home as well. So that's what we're going to talk about: automating questions that people ask you over and over, automating your newsletter, automating your Gmail if you have a Gmail account, automating documentation, things that you're doing over and over, and then of course automating your office, right? So let's jump in. So the very first thing, and this is a really cool tool, it's around automating your FAQs, or your frequently asked questions. I am a big fan of something called ManyChat, ManyChat. ManyChat, ManyChat.com. And this is a little widget that you can put on your website that pops up in the corner. You've probably seen these different chat programs before. There are others out there, like Chat Fuel is another big one. And there's others, right? ManyChat, what it does is it actually integrates with your Facebook Messenger app, which is an app you have on your phone probably anyway, right? To communicate with your family and friends and things like that. So it integrates with that, and then it pops up on your website, and basically says, "Hey, are you looking for new window treatments? How can we help with that?" Or something along those lines. But it goes a step further than that. What you can do with this program is you can also set up um, automations, things to happen depending on a specific keyword maybe that's put in. If somebody's, comes on there and they say, "Do you have Roman shades?" So Roman shades could be a keyword trigger that replies to that person automatically. Oh, you wanted to learn about Roman shades? Here's a link to our Roman shades page on our site. That would be really cool, right? No interaction from you, but the customer is getting the information that they're asking for. Obviously, you can build as many of these little triggers and sequences as you need to. And at some point, it may be that they ask a question or communicate in a way that you don't have an automation built for that. Typically, what I do is I just say, "Hey, I'm just a bot. I'm unable to answer that question. Let me get a human for you." And at that point, it pops up on your screen, on your phone even, and says, you've got a conversation going on with somebody on your page, and you actually have the opportunity right then and there to chat with that person. Pretty awesome. Great immediate interaction, great branding, great opportunity to get in front of a customer at that particular point. And most likely your competitors are not doing something like this. So really cool little tool. As far as cost, they have the freemium model. So free to sign up, free to use a couple of their little things. And the one that I'm talking about, the chat feature on your website, free. But they have some other things that you can do. You can build some more integrated bots and funnels and things like that. And that does cost, I think it's still really cheap. It might be like $10 a month or something like that. But to get started, absolutely nothing. So definitely worth doing that. So a couple examples. Here's a company that somebody popped up and said, "Hey, do you have any Australian Chardonnays for under £5 or $5? Or maybe I should say Australian Chardonnays," right? I should probably say it like that. But anyway, because of those particular keywords, this bot came back and said, "Here's a suggestion for $3.99." And that person can then just click on that and go straight to that page and buy that wine, right? Pretty cool. Another one that the city of Chicago has. "Hey, I'm coming to Chicago next week. Would love to get a burger. Where should I go?" And they come back and they say, "Well, people rave about the Command Burger. Would you like us to make a reservation?" You can say yes, and it will actually curate that reservation right there from the website. So there are a lot of examples, obviously, for the window treatment industry that you could do these same kind of things. You could use it for scheduling in-home appointments. There are a lot of things that you could use this for. You could, talk about different awning fabrics or, anyway, lots of ways to go. This, by the way, uses the Facebook Pages Manager app. If you don't have that for your business, you really need to get it. It is free, but it gives you some really cool insights into your Facebook page, how many people are currently communicating with you, what kind of engagement you have, how well your posts are doing, that kind of stuff. Facebook Pages Manager app. Just look that up in your Google store or your iPhone store. All right, next, automate your newsletter. So another really cool tool that I just love, and that is Active Campaign. I talk a lot about Active Campaign with my clients. We have it hooked up for most all of our clients, and it's a simple newsletter program at first look. Simply similar to Constant Contact or Mailchimp or something like that. However, it also lets you do some really cool automations. So if a person clicks on a link or a person subscribes to your newsletter, do these things first, right? Send them some sort of nurture campaign or send them some different PDFs that would help them make their decision better. If they sign up from the Roman Shade page, send them a PDF on Roman Shades or a design guide or something like that. Really cool stuff you can do with Active Campaign. One thing that we like to do for some clients, and we've done this in the past, is just set up a year's worth of newsletters. Do it once and be done with it, right? So we'll do that. We could do weekly, 52 newsletters. That's quite a bit of work to set up. But if you have a bunch of blogs and you've been blogging for a while, then putting them into a newsletter really not that difficult to do. Something you could hire a VA or a college grad or even a high school kid to do, and get those all set up. If you just want to do a monthly newsletter, you think weekly is too much, that's fine. You only have to do 12 that way, right? But here's what's really cool. If you do the monthly, and then in the middle of the month, Hunter Douglas has their new thing that they come out with, right? Or your vendor comes up and says, hey, we'll give you 20% off this month. You can still send out these other newsletters, right, in the middle of this, because they're only getting one a month. So if some months they get two, it's very unlikely that somebody's going to unsubscribe because of that. Especially if the 12 that they're getting over the course of a year are all value driven. So you're just giving them value and information and, not really a lot of sales in there. Then this is not a huge issue, right? Adding a second newsletter in because you have a 20% off this month or something like that. Easy way to do it. As far as costs, it starts at $9 a month after your 14-day free trial. And you can get that at wtmarketingpros.com/AC, which of course stands for Active Campaign. Using that link actually gets you that free trial. And then after that, $9 a month, which is very comparable to MailChimp, Constant Contact, some of those other ones that don't have a lot of that same functionality. So kind of a no-brainer, right? Here's an example, a company called Float, Missouri. We did this exact thing, took 12 of their blogs, plugged them in, and built an automation that basically, once they sign up, sends them an email, waits 30 days, sends them an email, waits 30 days, sends them an email. So, super hands-off, right? Really easy. So that's Active Campaign. Next, automate your Gmail. So I use Gmail for most of mine. I've used Outlook in the past and some other systems, and just finally caved to the fact that Gmail is just superior. It's easier. It loads faster. You can use it from any location. You can hook it up to your phone, all these different things, right? But there's one really cool add-on to Gmail that I can't live without anymore, and that's called canned responses. They've recently changed it to templates, but same idea. You build these different emails that you're sending over and over again. You build the template, and then when you're ready to send that email, you hit the little dots in the corner, you send, you choose which template you want, and it pre-fills it. It builds the email for you. And then if you want to, you can go in and add a name like, hi, George. You could add that in there. You can add a link or anything you need to do after the fact. But if you just need to send out emails quickly to somebody, this is a great way to do it. Great way to kind of automate your Gmail settings. And that's called templates. It is part of Gmail, but it is not something that is turned on by default. So you have to turn this on. But if you're using Gmail, another no-brainer, right? All right, next, automate your documents. So with the recent pandemic, this is probably becoming a little bit more mainstream now with us, you know, bank lobbies are closed and getting contracts and getting things signed and agreements set up little bit more difficult. So it's really gone virtual, right? And these services might not be a surprise to you. But you can get contract signatures, send over any like NDA. Another great one is credit card authorization forms. When you get a client that says, yes, we want to start, send them a credit card authorization form right away. So you have that and you're not sitting around waiting for a check. These are great things to do all virtually and immediately. Now, I use one called DocuSign, and it's probably the most well-known. And I only use it because it was first on the scene. I signed up for a year, so kind of sort of locked in, right? But there are others that are cheaper that do just as well now. Sign Request is a really nice one. Signrequest.com. Dropbox has a version of this called HelloSign. But any of these work the same way. Basically, you just send over your document, you tell it where you want the signature, if there's any check boxes they need to check, or if they need to fill in a text box for something, they can. Like I said, I use this for credit card authorizations. So when somebody gets an agreement from us, they sign the agreement, and then the next page is the credit card authorization. So we get that information right away. And if you're doing this, if you're going into people's homes or businesses and getting them to say yes, you can build agreements that are templates, and the designer can send them the PDF while they're sitting at the living room table or the dining room table. And you talk about reducing friction in that time from, yes, we want to do it, to the designer drives back to the office, creates the paperwork, however your process is. There's time for them to think and second guess their decision in there. So it's better if you can deliver that document to them while you're sitting in their living room. It's going to increase your conversion rate by a huge number. These services don't cost a lot. I think they start at 9, 10, 13, something like that bucks a month. So very, very affordable for the things that you can do, and especially the convenience of being able to do them quickly. I think that's a fantastic opportunity that you have there with these. All right, let's move on to automating your office. Some of my favorite stuff to do. And I'm going to have to be a little careful because I am in my office, and she who shall not be named is listening. If I say the name, she'll start talking to me and wonder what I'm asking her probably. So, but there are some really cool things you can do. And of course, Google has one called Google Home. There are other home automation type devices. But there are things you can do. Have her turn on and off lights, start and stop music, set schedules. So things that just happen automatically at certain times. For instance, we have our fan. My wife likes to have the fan running at night. So she just turns it off every morning at 7 because we're always up by then and we don't have to deal with switches and whatever. It's just automatically, which is really nice. You can also build scenarios around that, and I'll talk about one of those in a minute here. As far as cost, I've picked these up for as cheap as $24 on Black Friday. There are other times during the year when you can pick these up fairly cheap. We also have the Echo. I think it's called the Echo Show. I think is what it's called. It's got a screen. It's a little bit more robust, got a better speaker, and I think that was $99 or something like that. Some people are freaked out by the fact that somebody is basically always listening in your home, but in our case, we have nothing to hide. I have one in my office. We have one in a lot of rooms in our home. But there are some really cool things. When I tell her to get started, she does a couple of things for me. First of all, she says, "Good morning, Will." Secondly, turns on my lava lamp. Got a cool lava lamp in here that I just like to watch during the day. So she turns that on. That way it's not running all day, every day. and she automatically turns it off at 4 when I'm done for the day. Sets the lights to 50% depending on the time of the day, the morning, how dark it is out. Of course, in the summertime, not much of an issue, but in the winter, it certainly is. Also got some really cool fish tank lights that don't run all the time. I have her turn those on when I say get started, and then she starts playing music on Pandora at a low level. But that gets me kind of going in the morning, and all I have to do is say get started, and off we go. So some really cool different things you can do with that. I'm also a huge fan of these smart plugs that you can get on Amazon. And these things can do some really cool things. We've got one, basically anything that you can plug in, you plug into this and then plug it into the wall. And it becomes an Alexa device that you can control just by saying, turn this on, turn this off. For instance, my lava lamp is hooked up to one. So she's not actually like turning on my lava lamp. She's just switching that plug to the on position. So anything that's hardwired works really well with these. We also use it to control the pool filter so that it's not running 24/7. It runs an hour 3 or 4 times a day on a schedule. So some pretty cool stuff that it does, and I'll share a link to this in the show notes as well. So that is some different things that you can automate. I know I kind of went through them fairly quickly, but you can learn more about any of these by obviously listening to the podcast at wtmarketingpros.com/podcasts. All the episodes are there, all the show notes are there, and we do Facebook Live most Fridays. So if you are in our private Facebook group, you will get the alert that I'm doing one of these. You'll get an alert that there's some new information coming out, and you can chime in, say hi, all of that good stuff. We see some people on here now, so I appreciate you taking time today to watch us live, and I also appreciate you listening to the podcast as well. Hope you guys have a fantastic day, and we'll be talking to you on the next episode. Take care.